One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
Is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
What's up, everybody, on a Tuesday evening right before the 4th of July, right before Independence Day, a day that many liberals don't seem to understand. They don't understand why people left England and came to America, why it was so important to get away from the taxation of the British Empire and come to America. And now, 200-something years later, y'all just want to put us right back where we were and just take everybody's money. This weekend, you're going to realize it. Obviously, you're going to spend some time with family. I hope you have a great time with your family. Let me see if I can turn the volume up a little bit here. And in doing so, you're probably going to have a nice barbecue. You're going to be hanging out with the fam, doing some things. And your groceries are 30% higher. Don't worry about it. Everything is fine. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is probably going to blow your mind. As you saw with the picture, you have a new, I guess you would call it, co-commander-in-chief. You didn't elect him. You probably would have never elected him. You probably wouldn't have ever picked him to basically, clean your house. Not this guy. As of today, we find out, don't know how long it's been going on. Again, once this, what seems like to be this White House and all of their ongoing secrecy and cloak and dagger BS, Hunter Biden. Yes, that Hunter Biden has been showing up in meetings with his father, Dementia Joe. What possible reason could Hunter Biden be going to these meetings with his father, the President of the United States, the leader of the free world, as they say? And now Hunter Biden is going to these meetings? Are you freaking kidding me? And they kind of just brushed it off. It got picked up by MSNBC, NBC News, all over the place today, that Hunter Biden was now going to these meetings. First thing I saw was this. This came out from Ken Delanian, who is with NBC News. And it says here, Hunter Biden has joined meetings with President Biden and his top aides. His top aides this week at the White House. 4 people familiar with the matter tell me, and my colleagues, who are told the reaction from senior White House staff has been, what the hell is happening? I can echo that sentiment greatly. I'm pretty sure you would basically have that same sentiment echo. Maybe even stronger. Maybe it would be WTF. What the F is going on that Hunter Biden would be going to meetings with his father and top aides? The reason I wanted to start off with this tweet is because of that delineation of who's going to these meetings. Top aides. Are you talking about cabinet members? Are you talking just about the press secretary, chief of staff? Who are these top aides? I'd love for him to basically come back and say what's going on with these top aides. In any event, we know that Hunter Biden does not have a security clearance. Well, let me rephrase it. I couldn't possibly think that Hunter Biden has a security clearance. I don't think he could qualify for a security clearance. Nope. A weapons violation, drugs, prostitutes, a convicted felon, hasn't been elected. Hunter Biden is in the Oval Office and possibly the war room, the strategy rooms with top aides. Why? No, we're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you. Well, let me play the video for you where all this got busted out this morning. Right after that came out. Here we go.
Breaking news. We're now learning that Hunter Biden is attending some of the president's meetings at the White House, staying close to his father post-debate. NBC's Monica Alba is reporting from Washington, D.C. What more can you tell us, Monica?
Well, these are new details coming in to our team, Chris, along with my colleagues, Kristen Welker, Mike Memley, and Sarah Fitzpatrick. We have learned from sources familiar with the situation at the White House that Hunter Biden has been by his father's side ever since they were at Camp David.
All right, so to me, that's very interesting right there. This all started at Camp David. So when the family got together, and they sat back and go, okay, what's our strategy? You had a terrible debate. You can't talk. We don't know what's going on here. So what are we going to do? At that point, I would probably guess that Hunter and Jill said, okay, she said I babysat him overseas during the whole Normandy celebration. You saw how that worked out. And she goes, I need some help. I can't deal with this guy all by myself. And I just can't go to these meetings. And Hunter's like, I'll go. And they probably looked around the room. How in the hell are you going to go to White House meetings? Isn't that going to cause people to, raise questions and wonder what the hell's going on? F them. That's pretty much what the White House said today. Hey, what's going on with this Hunter guy meeting with Biden in Biden's meetings with top aides, whoever these top aides are? Don't worry about it. It's on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know. And if you look around tonight and try to find some information, you get a blip here, you get a blip there, but nobody's really digging into this and asking themselves, how in the hell is Hunter Biden going to top meetings? Who's running this ship? I have no idea. Has he now assumed control of the country? Is he now running the ship? Is he now making decisions for his father? They don't want to touch the 25th Amendment, but it's okay that Hunter is the one who's in the White House counseling his dad, his consigliere? Is that who is now telling? He's the smartest man he ever knew, remember? So is that the guy now that Joe is leaning on to tell him what to do? That scare you even a little bit? Let's continue here.
Weekend as a family where they had some discussions about the president's potential path forward here and his re-election campaign, and that since he returned from Camp David last evening with his father, we understand that Hunter Biden has even joined some meetings and conversations that have taken place between the president and some of his most senior advisors.
So he's not hanging out with, some guys in the press corps. The senior advisors, Hunter's in these meetings. For what possible reason?
Senior staff. And while we should note that it's not unusual for Hunter Biden to be at the White House, to be in the residence, to be attending certain White House events, which we have certainly seen time.
And I don't have a problem with that. That's the president's son, as much of a crackhead as he is. If you want to come to the picnics and do the different things, yeah, okay. Let little Hunter come out, this 55-year-old little guy. Let Hunter come out and go to the events. But now he's in the meetings?
Time again over the last 3.5 years where we have seen photos of him and where he has appeared in public. It is unusual, according to the people we spoke with, for him to be participating at this level and to have the sort of regularity of some of these contacts and conversations with senior staff. We understand, again, since returning yesterday from Camp David, where they were more huddled as a family, to now as the president has resumed some of his more traditional meetings at the White House with those key advisors.
Okay, so that was the extent of the report by MSNBC. Haven't seen much more broad of a report on any other network. So today, on a holiday weekend, which basically starts today, nobody's going to be really working tomorrow. Nobody's really going to be working Thursday and Friday. So you can expect there's going to be a dearth in news for like the next 3 days or so, until Monday comes rolling back around. So if you had planned on taking a long weekend away from the White House, why was it imperative on these couple days where you came back? Why did you need to have Hunter in these meetings? It's pretty much a dead week. There's nothing really much going to happen unless, God forbid, something unfortunate happens. This is going to be one of those weeks where you coast into the weekend and just go, we made it. Nothing else bad happened. Okay, so then what was the need to bring Hunter into the White House meetings? He's not an apprentice. This isn't a role that you just come in and start, hey, son, let me show you the family business. Hey, here's where the nuclear codes are. See these buttons? Those are the ones I push and I can go, boom, I can make things happen. Okay, here's the red phone. Here's the bat phone. Oh, okay. What are you doing? This isn't Daddy Bring Your Son to Work Day. What in the hell is Hunter Biden doing anywhere near the meetings in the White House? Unfortunately, all I have for you is questions. Because this presidential administration has decided you don't need to know. Maybe he's trying to look at what they're going to take when they get booted out. I believe, as you saw in my video earlier, it's inevitable. It's done. It's finished. These people know they're going to be moving out. Maybe he's there because, as some of you know who have relatives that may have dementia, maybe he's one of the familiar faces that he can recognize and keep him under control. I don't know. But as the news report said, this is highly unusual. It's so highly unusual, why the hell didn't y'all dig more? Now, I'm going to show you a video because today Karine Jean-Pierre decided she was going to have a press conference. She couldn't dodge it any further. She had to come out. And these media folks, boy, did they come out with knives today. This wasn't the normal press conference she's used to, but she did perform her usual duties of dancing and jiving and basically blowing smoke up everybody's butt just to try and get through it. But as she saw today, people aren't having it anymore. Too many questions. So I understand, just to let you know, that Dementia Joe has scheduled an interview with George Stephanopoulos for ABC, where he's going to do an interview. And immediately, everybody said, recorded or live? If it's recorded, go ahead and save it. Don't even want to hear it. We don't want to see an edited video where you make him look a certain way. It's not going to help. It's done. The dude flubbed the debate, came out yesterday and did a 4-minute speech, turned around, turned tail, and walked, came out to a rally and screamed at everybody, decided he was going to talk about climate change today, and said that if everybody doesn't go along with it, you're dumb. So you just called all the citizenry of the United States who don't believe the BS that you're dumb. And then when he was reading the teleprompter, that was literally, which is amazing to me, somebody cut away. Somebody cut away, and they showed the teleprompter. It was basically arm's length away from him. That's how close it was, this thing, so he could read, so he could turn here and then turn here. It looked like he was being engaging, where he was merely reading, and then he said, he did the Ron Burgundy thing and read what was on the prompt of, clap now, or I forget what it was, but he read the prompt, did it again. I didn't see Hunter anywhere around, so maybe Hunter was busy back at the White House taking care of business. Maybe Hunter was, checking out the budget, seeing what buttons do what, who is he going to fire, who is he going to keep. I can't help you with that. Don't know what he did. So let me see what you guys have to say. Maybe that's more reason to say Hunter is a CIA asset. That's a very interesting thing. Yeah, he might be the asset. You're the asset that stays around and takes care of the guy who can't even talk to people, which I'm going to talk to you about. Hey, Ursula, gas is $3.70 a gallon here. Your gas is probably going to go down artificially. Why? He dumped a whole bunch, I think it was 1 million more gallons out of the strategic oil reserve. Dumped it. Just dumped it. But as I'm going to show you, it's only going to be short-lived, because while he gave you 1 million gallons, not you, us, the country, 1 million gallons out of the strategic reserve, he tapped into the Treasury on what would amounts to being a holiday weekend, and they're doling out billions more to that country over there. Who? I don't know. I don't know if Joe can even spell that country. Yeah, Ursula, he did. I'm going to show you. Hey, let me just go ahead and jump to that right now so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So as you know, as you're working, you can get a little bit ticked off this weekend that you got a couple days off and you're going to get some artificially inflated gas. And that's what Joe did. Defense Secretary Austin says the United States will provide $2.3 billion more in military aid to that country over there. $2.3 billion. After everything that's happened, after a crappy debate, after finding out that Hunter's in the White House, after hanging out at Camp David, who's running the country? Do you think Joe came back to the Oval Office and said, hey, check out, I think my boy over there needs another couple billion? They cut a check. The money laundering cannot stop. It must continue at all costs. Doesn't matter about you plebes here in America. I know you're paying more for food this weekend with your barbecue. I know gas. Here, I'll drain the strategic reserve, give you a break over the weekend. On Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, the prices will go back up, but you'll have a decent weekend. I know your hot dogs are like, $1 more expensive, but that guy over there needs a couple $billion more. A couple $1 billion more. 2.3. to be exact. Did you know about that? Did you agree to that? Congress agreed to that? Nope. I don't know who agreed to that, but he gave away $2.3 billion. Gave it away. $2.3 billion of your money over there on a holiday weekend. Meanwhile, there's a story running around that one of Zelensky's buddies bought a $4.5 million Bugatti luxury racing car. I just feel like they just rub it in our face sometimes. Just sit there and say, hey, just sit back and take it. Send no money. This man has endured so many false criminal charges. However, you'll never stop fighting for America. God bless everyone. Yep. boy, this is like a communist party running things right now. Yeah, absolutely. It does feel that way. Lena, I completely agree with you. Trump can't come quick enough for us American citizens. Absolutely. That is where we are at this point. And as I'm going to show you, it's happening. It actually is happening. But first, let me go to the video. So I know it's coming up on a weekend, so I don't want to keep you here for 2 hours tonight. But you know, we're going to have some video talk here. Let's continue with what happened at the White House today, because this is just crazy. So this next cut, I believe, is where I'm going into the press conference that Karine Jean-Pierre had to have today. And what she had to have today was, you'll see, the press just comes at her. I think this first question is about Hunter.
Biden has been in some meetings with senior advisors. Why is the president's son involved?
So a couple of things I saw that reporting as I was coming out. So a couple of things there. Look, the president, as you know, is very close to his family. This is a holiday week, 4th of July. He spent time with his family, as you all know, and reported at Camp David. Hunter came back with him and walked with him into.
So was Daddy take the son to work day? Okay, gotcha.
That meeting, that speech prep, and he ended up spending time with his dad and his family that night. That is basically what happened. It is a week where there's going to be more family members who are going to come to the White House. I'm sure you'll see some of them on 4th of July. Many more are expected to be here.
No issue with family being in the White House. The question, though, would be, is he
I love how she's like, thank you for that answer. And you didn't answer my question. We're done playing with you here. If they come to the barbecue and they can go ahead and roast some marshmallows, except for the one grandchild that you don't want anywhere near you. But, you know, that's fine. Have the family over. Go ahead, have movie night, whatever you want to do. Excuse me. Now go back to the question I asked you. And what I asked you was, why is this idiot in meetings with top aides? In case you forgot, let me go ahead and ask you again. So she asked her again.
Participating in meetings with senior advisors.
What I can say is that he came back with his dad from Camp David. He walked him into the speech prep, and he was in the room. That I can tell you, he was in the room.
You would think in the most probably consequential week of this guy's presidency, with the buzzards flying around, with everybody loading the gun and looking to take aim at this guy, just about everybody, with so many questions swirling around, you'd think this week, to try and help in the polls, to try and sway Americans, you would think of every week of the last 3.5 years, this might be the week I need to come in honestly. This might be the one time I can actually change something. I can make something substantively better if I just come out and give you the real answers. And her first question, right out the bat, is why is this crackhead in meetings with top aides in the White House? In the Situation Room, here or there. Why? Tell us. Oh, they're going to roast marshmallows and have barbecue with hot dogs and chicken this week, and so he's hanging out. That's not what I asked you. We're all adults here. I'm a paid reporter. What the hell is this guy doing in the meetings? Is his granddaughter coming tomorrow? Is Ashley coming? You know, the diary author? Why was Hunter in meetings with top aides? You don't need to know. Okay, so what you're telling America is basically it's right back to business as usual. Just lie, and then you're going to wonder why your numbers shit the bed. Because they can't answer anything. There's nothing at this point these people can do. That's why I've been saying in the last couple of videos, it's over. They got nothing. They know they have nothing. Because this would have been the time. This would have been the time you could have said right then and there, why is he, and answered the question. And I'm going to show you a bunch more cuts where she's just getting boom, 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 and she can't even respond. Let's go to the next cut here, and let's check this out.
After the debate, did the president get examined by a doctor, or did he get a neurological scan?
So here the questions are different. She's probably sitting there. She's you have to give her credit. She's poised enough to know not to show any emotion. Because right now she's probably thinking, oh shit, this isn't the normal press conference, is it? Nope. Sorry, honey. We got questions and we need answers. So Dementia Joe, did he go get his noggin checked out? Because what we saw, hey man, something's obviously wrong. We need to know. Here's her answer.
A neurological scan?
Yes, bitch. I'm sorry. Yes, a neurological scan. That's exactly what she said. What didn't you hear? We all heard it. A neurological scan.
Look, what I can say is that, just to take a step back.
No, I don't want to take a step back.
It was a bad night. We understand that it was a...
No, it wasn't a bad night. Don't patronize me. Don't pee on me and tell me it's raining. Right now, she's trying to collect her thoughts. She is good at that in terms of hearing something she doesn't want to hear. When you repeat a question that's asked for you, those of you who are in the corporate world, when you ask somebody a question, you can usually tell when they lie. So, did you get your project done this week? Did I get my project done this week? Okay, I know what you're about to say means you're lying. Because when you do that, that is a delay tactic that your brain is saying, all right, you got to think of an answer. You don't have an answer for this. You didn't expect this. Did he take a neurological test? A neurological test? Yeah, that's what I asked you. All right, and then she said, let me take a step back. Because, boom, you threw a haymaker, she wasn't ready for it, and now she doesn't know how to answer this question.
Bad night. And the president has spoken to this.
No, he didn't. Did you hear him speak to having a neurological test? Or a bad night? No, I haven't heard him.
And he understands that. And so I cannot speak to anything beyond what I just shared. The president has regular annual physicals that we release in a thorough report. We're going to continue to do that. I don't have anything else beyond that.
I'm sorry. No, I can't really tell you. No, I can't speak to that. Why can't you speak to that? You know how you easily speak to that? If you're being an honest person, every single one of you in the chat would know what you would say if you were being an honest person. She asked you a very, very direct question. Has he had a neurological test since the debate? What's the answer? There's two. There's only two. Yes or no. You couldn't say no, which means you're lying. Because you very quickly could have said, no. No, he hasn't had one of those tests. Why wouldn't you say no like that? Why wouldn't that have been a snap answer? Because you knew you were going to lie and you didn't want someone to find out sometime down the road that you lied to the press again. There's only two answers to that question. The lady didn't have to press her or anything. Did the president get a neurological exam after the debate? Very simple. You could have stopped it in its tracks. I wouldn't be talking about it. Nobody else would be talking about it. You couldn't say no. When you can't say no, that tells me there's fire under that smoke. That smoke is telling me you don't want that smoke, that there's fire behind it. No. Very simple. She can't even say that. I can't. I don't even know what to think about when you ask somebody a question at that level, knowing the cameras are on her. She's polished. She's looking around. Hey, is it left or right? I can't speak to. No, you can speak to that. I hear you speaking to that. You're speaking right now. You're going to do a lot more speaking. So tell me, was there an exam? She couldn't say no. If she said yes, hell would have broke loose. All right, so we understand it, that if she said the word yes, that right then and there, press conference would end. Everybody would be typing, went to neurology. So she couldn't do that. But then why couldn't you say no? Because, see, the other answer is probably the truth. So she just said nothing. She didn't speak to it. Yeah, Robert Santiago. Yeah, you're absolutely. Where's Robert? Where'd your thing go? Oh man, I was just okay. There it is. Robert Santiago's got the answer here. She's a professional BSer and liar and gaslighting. I'm playing this so that I'm not the one giving you guys information. I want you to, as you're watching this, imagine if you're a reporter and listen to the question and then listen to the answer, and then you can make up your own mind. My job, my obligation is to bring it to you, let you hear it, let you formulate what you believe, and I'll give you my opinion, but you can actually hear what was said at the meeting. Kathy Cole says, yes, professional gaslighter. Lady Angelia says, yes, she's gaslighting us again and again, and I'm sick of it. Everyone is fed up. Trump, please come back to the White House, please. Good point there. Everybody's fed up. And finally, the press is fed up. These people have nowhere to go at this point. Makes them dangerous. As you saw, they gave $2.5 million to that country over there. But it makes them dangerous because now they can strike out. They've got months and months and months to do whatever they need to do that basically nobody can stop them. And you know you've got a gun to your head, metaphorically, because you're going to be gone. You're not going to be here anymore. So you're a lame duck in July. On July 1st, you're basically a lame duck. As I said in my video earlier today, there is no chance of recovery. That's the one thing that everybody has to understand, that it's not going to get better. As I said in my video, Joe has a one-way ticket. He's not coming back. Each week, he's going to diminish more and more and more. They can try and stave it off. They can try and do whatever they do with some experimental medicine, see what can happen. But it's a train that's it's literally going to go off the tracks. It's done. There's nothing they can do. And I think a lot of people aren't realizing that it's July 2nd, and it's at a point right now where there's nothing they can do to stop it. It's a runaway train. And so I don't know what these people are capable of. They can read the polls. I'm going to show you some data today that's going to blow you away. But dementia only gets worse. They're all up to their necks to the river in Egypt. Yeah, denial, denial, denial. It's completely crazy. I agree with, if I make sure I caught this, Trump doesn't need to debate Biden anymore. Nope. No, it ain't going to happen. No need. He'll be up so far, it won't be able to do it. Dementia doesn't go away. It doesn't get better. You don't have a sprained ankle, pulled hamstring. Oh, my shoulder, my rotator cuff. No, there's nothing you can do to get it better. That's why Hunter's probably in the White House. Got to bring somebody in to help. You basically tapped out and brought somebody from the bullpen. But in any event, that's what you did. All right, so let's get to the next cut so I don't keep you guys here all night long. Let's go.
People that we've talked to describe an accelerating series of...
Did you see her eyes? She knows where this one's going. People we've talked to, so whoever this reporter is telling her, yeah, we've talked to quite a few people. And her eyes went like that, okay? Those of you guys who understand what eyes do and what it means when you're trying to look for an answer, she's trying to look for an answer before she hears the rest of the question.
Episodes, moments when, over the course of the last several weeks, the president appeared confused or listless or would lose the thread of a conversation in private meetings at the G7, in Normandy, at the White House. Not all the time, not saying that that's the way he is all the time, and that there's clearly moments people say that he's forceful and with it and all of that. But these people suggest that that what happened, what Americans saw at the debate, has a precursor. What do you?
All right, so hey, I've talked to some people that want to make sure you guys hear everything, who say he looks listless, out of it, basically daydreaming, probably looking to sleep. You know, what are you guys going to do about it?
Say to them.
So I want to...
Okay, so, he said, what are you going to say to that? All right, let's see what she says.
Be mindful and respect your reporting. I have not read it. I have not seen it, so it's hard for me to respond to it directly. But what
All right, so here's my problem with that. The deflection again. I haven't read it. No, I'm not asking you. You've seen it. We've all seen it. You don't need to see the report he's talking about. It's out there. I'm going to show it to you. Here's what people are saying. Is this happening? Can you speak to it, is what he said. We see you going back and forth to the helicopter with him. We know you were at Camp David. Can you speak to it? I haven't seen the article. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you about his listless, fading, incognitive way. Can you speak to it?
I can speak to more broadly is that I have engagement with the president pretty regularly. What I see is a strong, resolute president who's always willing and able to work on behalf of the American people. I do not know who these folks are that you speak of, so it's hard for me to talk about that and to speak to that. I can just speak to my experience and go back again on the president.
So what she's saying in her experience, she never sees it. She's lying to their faces. I never see it. I see a man who's resolute for the American people. I didn't ask you that, lady. He can still be resolute in his heart if it's possible, but he can still be a blubbering idiot at the same time. What we want to know is, what do you say about that? She's like, I've never seen it. Were you not watching the debate? That would have been my next question to her. My next question would have been, did you not see the debate? Were you not in some war room somewhere watching the debate? Were you backstage? Was there a monitor? Because we've all seen it. So what do you mean you can't speak to it? It was on full display. What do you think the conversation has been about the entire week since that debate? And before that, with other people who you didn't want to basically acknowledge. So again, you have seen it. We have all seen it. I'm sure you went back and watched the tapes over and over like a football coach. What do you got to say about it? I haven't seen the article, so I can't really speak to it because he's been fine as far as I know. No, you're lying. We know you were at the debate. See what I mean? You see how she just dances around it? These guys are being way too much respectful than I would be because they don't want their credentials pulled. But you had to have seen it.
President's record and what he's been able to deliver on behalf of the American people. So I do want to be mindful.
You see what I mean? And this woman must play awesome tennis because she can just pop back, or either she might be really good in judo. This administration is done. Now I understand all of them have to deflect. All of them, no matter who's a press secretary, has to get up there and deflect. She's having a hard time right now because she's trying to deflect with someone she can't deflect for. It's not like, oh, he actually said this or he didn't say that. We have video. We can actually see it. They're not cheap. Oh, that's right. They still are cheap fakes, right? Oh, that's what she's going to tell us.
I think part of the problem that Democrats are articulating is that it wasn't just that he had a cold, but rather he had, answers. He was trailing off. He didn't answer some questions in a sort of fulsome way. And speaking of Nancy Pelosi, one of the things that she recently said was that it was a legitimate question whether his performance was an episode or a...
That was in my video earlier today. You might want to see it. After defending and defending and defending Joe, Nancy came out and said, yeah, it's a legitimate question. Yeah, we should question whether or not his noggin's working.
So I guess I wonder if there's been any consideration given to releasing a more robust set of medical records or something to show his mental acuity.
So I will say this.
So these people are still being very polite. You can see her, the woman next to her, and you know they don't believe a word she's saying right now. So what they're doing at this point, what each one of these reporters are doing, they're going to go back and write the truth. At this point, gloves are off. I've seen some of the articles. They are going to go back and write the truth. They are giving her, as a spokesperson for the president, the opportunity to come clean. It's like, hey, Johnny, did you break the vase? What vase? Come on, Johnny. Did you run through here with your baseball bat and break the vase? You sure you didn't break the vase, Johnny? Okay, Johnny, I'm going to ask you one more time before I pull on the camera. Did you break the vase? Yeah, I broke the vase, Daddy. They're giving her the opportunity to be an adult.
Look, and again, I get the question. It is a fair question to ask. We are not taking that away, and that's why the president certainly has spoken to this. As it relates to his medical records, we have been transparent. We have released thorough reports from his medical team every year since he's been in office. That is something that we have been pretty consistent about. As it relates to, something like a cognitive test, to the question that you're asking me.
You're going to love how she ends this answer. Classic deflection. Listen to this.
About what the speaker, former speaker said. Obviously, she can speak for herself. His team, who has said, the medical team said, it is not warranted in this case. We have.
When would it be warranted? That would have been my next question. How bad do you need to see it for it to be warranted? When 51 million Americans watched on TV, when 38 million Americans watched online, when 80 plus million people saw this live, never mind the millions who have watched it, the replay, when potentially 100 million people watched this guy glitch on stage, when would it be warranted to have a cognitive test? What do you need to have done? What do you need to see to order the cognitive test? That's what I would ask her.
Put forward a thorough, transparent annual report on his health. So they have said that is not warranted. It is not necessary. Again, we understand. We're not taking away from what you all saw or what the American people saw. We understand. It was a bad night. It is not uncommon for incumbents to have a bad night on their first debate. And we are going to continue to do the work that we have been doing on behalf of the American people. I think the president's record certainly speaks for itself.
She compared Obama's, quote, bad night to Joe's bad night. Obama was 51 or 52. This guy's 80-something, 81. And she's trying to just play it off like it's no big deal. And at some point, you can see by her gesticulations and her movements, people aren't accepting this shit anymore. It's got to break. Something has to happen. I just don't I don't know how where it ends up. Ray Copeland said, excuse me, it's necessary, you dumbass. We have to have a mentally fit president. It's such a gimme. I laugh because what you just said is so funny. It's like, yeah, we need to know. Here's what we've been told. And I'm just going to recap what you already know. You have a guy who the special counsel, who interviewed him extensively, said this guy's toast. He's too incompetent to stand trial. Okay. Then you get a guy who's a blithering idiot in a debate, and we've all seen it all along, but he's supposed to be fine. So if he's fine, why can't he be charged? Nobody asked that question. If his cognitive abilities are so great, everything we've seen is completely wrong, then he should be charged. That was the only reason he wasn't charged with a crime. Everybody seems to forget that. He was too incompetent to stand trial. Robert Hur should walk in tomorrow or Monday and say, here are the charges, we're filing them. I've heard for months now that this guy is top-notch. He's great behind the scenes. He obviously was faking it with me. I'm filing the criminal charges. What would happen at that point? Because, you're telling us all, you're telling Robert Hur, the prosecutor, you're making all these statements that he's fine. He's absolutely fine. All right, we'll buy it. Now you've been served. Need your mugshot. Show up here. I got some criminal charges to go up against you. Because the only reason you're walking the streets is because you were too incompetent to stand trial. Deal? Nobody talks about that. I mean, nobody brings that up anymore. The only reason Robert Hur, whose job was to investigate him, the same way Jack Smith is investigating Trump. Gotcha. Trump got charges brought against him. Why? Because he was competent enough to stand trial. Your explanation in writing to all of us is that this guy is so gonzo, he can't stand trial. All right, so if he's too stupid, not stupid, if he's too gonzo to stand trial, how can he be president? I don't hear anybody ask that question. It's a simple, it couldn't be more simple. You can't stand trial, you can't be president. But so by her saying all this stuff and saying it for months and months and months, it just leaves, it's just crazy. Joe is conveniently incompetent when it serves the Dems. Oh yeah, that's right. It's only certain times. His incompetence only matters when it becomes a matter of him going to jail or being charged. Absolutely. He's above the law of incompetence. Yeah. Above the law of incompetence. Oh, yeah. And Debbie, good point. Debbie, I love your avatar with Freddie there. Release the tapes. Yeah. If he's so competent that he couldn't be charged, then the tapes would show that this guy is actually competent. Why haven't you released those tapes? Why are we having to fight Merrick Garland to release the damn tapes? Let the American people hear it. He's fine. He's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with him. We believe you. Can we hear the tapes? No, I can't. We can't do that. Why? Why? You know Trump's got that bullet in his gun still. You know that's going to be coming out as they move forward, if he moves forward. Absolutely. All right, so let's continue with this charade that Karine Jean-Pierre did.
I just think the question, it's about the way we look at our elderly parents and grandparents. It's you maybe visit them once a year and you see troubling signs because you don't live in the same city perhaps, and the first question that you go to is, I wonder if this is like a one-time thing or if it's something that has been happening for a longer time that we need to deal with. And the second question is,
you're going multiple times.
Where are they going to be in a year? Where are they going to be in 2 years?
Yeah.
Do we need to?
Great question. We all know, we've said it, dementia, it's a downhill. There's no exits. You can't get off. The ride is going to continue to a halt eventually. So even if we're saying, I don't know what they're saying, come next year, basically you've got Kamala. That's all we have in front of us. Because there's no way, I don't think anybody, even people who are voting for Democrats, think this guy's going to make it past a year once he's reelected. God help us.
Put them in a home, all of the questions that go through that, and this is sort of the American people's version of that.
I hear, and I hear you, and that's what I'm saying. Look, this is why the president goes through, medical examinations, right? And we release those medical examinations.
A year. Let's assume she was correct, and that he does have his yearly exam. Did he do a cognitive test in the last yearly exam? Now, if he has dementia, as it appears to everybody, a year is way too far away to have another exam. She thinks we're all stupid. Hey man, what he might have done a year ago, that has nothing to do with the condition he's in right now.
Right, we've done that the past couple of years. We're going to continue to do that. This is why we're going to go out there and continue to be out there and do interviews and talk to the American people.
She's lying. He is not going. He had a perfect opportunity yesterday. He did a 4-minute speech, turned tail and ran. No questions. Nothing. Oh, so he's going to do an interview this weekend or whatever with George Stephanopoulos, like I said. It's not live. It's completely pre-recorded. It's going to be edited. He's going to know the questions in advance. They are trying to further gaslight the American public. Their problem is people ain't having it anymore, and I'm going to prove that to you. But it's just, she's got a hard job at this point. What is she going to do? I mean, think about it that way. At this point, what is Karine Jean-Pierre going to do? You took the job, you made your bed, you're lying in it, and what are you going to do? Tell the truth and just blow up everything? Save your own credibility, maybe.
And at the end of the day, I got to be careful, right? Because we are in a campaign season. But the American people will see for themselves, right?
We've seen for ourselves. She must think that we haven't seen this. We've all seen it. That's why you're crapping out in the polls, because we've seen it. So unless you do something to change what we've seen, we're going to see more of what we've been seeing. She doesn't get that.
And I just want to be super, super careful. But look, this is a president
super careful. Okay.
that has worked incredibly hard for the American people. And he, not just as president, as vice president, as a senator. And he is committed. And we cannot take away from the fact of his 3.5 years of leadership, what that has been able to do.
Means absolutely nothing. Yes, we can take away. What have you done for me lately? My gas is too high. My groceries are too high. You're giving money to this other country. You're stealing our reserves, oil reserves, petroleum reserves. You're doing everything against the American public. You brought in 12 million newcomers. When they keep saying he's done so well, what have you done? What have you done? And now you're trying to lean on that as a reason for not having a cognitive test? Oh boy.
What he's been able to get done. And that doesn't come from, that doesn't come easily. And he did it in historic fashion. He did. And the data proves that.
It doesn't. The only data people care about is when they go to the gas pump and they go to the grocery store and they pay their rent today or tomorrow. That's all people care about. That's what people care about. They don't want to know that you're helping democracy in this country over there. They don't want to know that. They don't want to know that you're flying people back and forth who've already been deported. Yeah, that came out again today too. They don't want to know. It's insane how much these people will lie to people.
And so, look, he's committed to continuing to make that progress, continue to work, whether it's climate change, whether it's the economy, whether it's healthcare. That is what he is committed to doing. And, he had a bad night. He did. And we are admitting that, owning up to that. You heard the president speak to that, and I think that's important for the American people to hear from us and from him as well.
If he had a bad night under those conditions, we've all had bad nights, bad day. I've had bad nights when I've done recorded video. The other day, my throat hurt so bad I could barely get through it. It's much better today, because I got better. My body is adjusting, is healing, so I got better. If I was the person who completely blew that debate, if you were the person who completely blew that debate, and you wanted to prove to people that it was just one bad night, that it was a fluke, it's a one-off, that's not me, I'm not like that. What you would do, obviously Trump's not going to debate you again, but you could recreate the entire thing. You could go out there and do a town hall meeting, completely open, live without a net. Every single network in the world would take the opportunity to show it. You could sign a statement. I don't need any notes. Don't need them. Fire away. Don't want the questions. Just ask me the questions and I will answer people. You may not like my answers, but I'll answer you. You could do that tomorrow. You could go into NBC Studios, CNN, and say, I'm here. Bring 50 people in. Have them ask me questions. We can do a town hall. I'll take every single question, and I'll show you I can think on my feet. All right, Sally from Detroit, what you got? Fred, you're from Boston. Love Boston. Love baked beans. Love the seafood up there. What you got? You don't have to even have the press conference. If it was seriously just one bad night, show people it was one bad night. What does every single athlete do when they're in a slump? They don't stop swinging. They get back up at bat. The first thing I want to do if I got my butt beat in a game, I couldn't wait to get back next Sunday and kick somebody else's butt. I couldn't wait to get back on the field. I don't want to hide. I don't want to just, shudder away from this and go, I'm not sure I'm ready for this, man. No. Most people I know who've competed and lost would love to play a doubleheader. Just play. Let's keep them here. Let's play again. Let's play another one. That's why I've always loved baseball in regards to doubleheaders. Is like, man, that first game I really sucked. I can't wait to play this second game. In football, you got to wait a week, a whole friggin' week. You got to sit there and watch films and go, oh man, I stunk this. Oh man, what did I do? Why was I blocking like this? I can't wait to. Oh God, when do I get to play these guys again? Same thing with every sport. You watch the tape, you get back out there. Basketball, every other night. Florida Panthers, yeah, go Florida Panthers. Won the Stanley Cup. They got up 3-0. What happened? Same thing happened that we're talking about Joe. Hey, man, Edmonton looked like crap. Got the pants beat off of them. And what did they say? Oh, get us back on the ice. We're not going out like that. And they won 3 in a row, and it got them to a Game 7. Every single athlete in every single sport does not want to go to bed the next night remembering what they did in the last game. That's why it sucks when you're not the champion, because the last thing you remember is how you lost your last game. Only one team in the entire league, of every single league, only one team wins their last game. Everybody else lost their last game. Not a lot of people think about that. Every single other athlete who doesn't have the trophy lost their last outing. And every single one of those athletes can't wait till the season starts again. So, Barry, what are you talking about? If I lost the way Joe lost in that debate, the first thing I would want to do to prove it was a bad night is to get out there and kick some ass. Not your questions at a press conference. Don't want to hear articles and stuff, and don't want to give out coined press releases and statements about being sick. I don't give a shit if you're sick. Get back on that horse. Get out there. Get out there and show us it was a fluke. I remember one guy a couple years ago. Some of you guys might be too young. This guy was a basketball player, and he barely could make it onto the team bus. And his stomach ache, he's throwing up, he's not feeling good. I'm talking about Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan barely could walk into the stadium. And whatever they gave him, he pepped up. And he went out on the floor that night and said, I'm not going out like this. And he scored 63 points with a major flu. Now, I understand Joe Biden isn't a high-performance athlete. He's not the best athlete in the world. He can't shake off a cold like that and still hit 63 points. But you damn sure should be able to do it today. I understand, and we're going on a week. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. It'll be a week since the debate. Why, if it was just one night, and this is a question I'm going to continue, but I wanted to make sure you guys understood. If it was one night that was the problem, and that's all it was one night, why aren't you replicating that event somewhere, anywhere in the country, to prove to people it was indeed just one night? You got time. You got plenty of time. You could make it happen like that. You could easily fill a room with 50 to 100 voters. It would be no problem. So why didn't you do it? We all know the answer, because they're full of shit. They're absolutely full of it. So they're not answering questions. MJ, you may have seen that game. 63 points while he was sick. Let's see here, subscribe. He needed to be. It's just an excuse to cover up for his incompetence. It is, because every single one of you would know that. Hey man, I didn't do well. I just didn't perform. get me back out there. Let's see here. Dementia Joe has the personality of a cadaver. Biden abused his power as president by weaponizing the justice system, and they try to put Trump in jail just to win an election. He needs to be convicted as well for his hidden crimes, but he can't because he's incompetent. Man, it's somebody says here, oh, thanks, Jody. Yeah, thumbs up for this video. Yeah, beat this algorithm because they beat up on me. And, I'm not saying anything I haven't done myself, including what you saw a couple nights ago. I could barely talk. I knew I didn't give my best. I've got my drinks here. I've got my lozenges just in case. I had to get back out there, man. Get back out there. So she's full of it. Absolutely. And you guys need to remember that. So let's continue here.
I'm going to ask something delicate, and you may not like it. The president may not like to hear it if he's watching, but I think the American people need to get a yes or no answer on this. Does President...
All right, so he spoke kind of lightly. I'm not sure where he was in the room, but he goes, I don't mean any disrespect. And usually when people preface a question like that, they're about to disrespect you. I'm sorry, I don't mean no disrespect, but... So that's how he started it.
Biden, at 81 years old, have Alzheimer's, any form of dementia, or degenerative illness that cause these sorts of lapses? And it's a yes or no question.
I love what he said. Okay, so in case you can't hear it, let me rephrase it because this is a good one. Don't mean no disrespect, but I got to ask you, does Joe have any Alzheimer's, dementia, any kind of neurological issue that would cause what we saw Thursday? And it's a yes and no answer. I love how he put it to her that way.
And if you don't know, why don't you, as one of his senior staff members, know?
And if you don't know, why don't you know, is what he just said.
I have an answer for you. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
It's a no. And I hope you're asking the other guy the same exact question.
She got a little stiffy there, didn't she? I hope you're asking the other guy the same question. Ooh, little snippy. Okay, so now we have a definitive answer. He does not have dementia, he does not have Alzheimer's, and he doesn't have any sort of neurological issue. Okay, if you told the truth, fine. Robert Herr should be the next call. Hey, excuse me, Robert, we just found out he's fine. Just go ahead, continue with what you were going to do. She was pissed. Now go ask Trump that. Go ask that other guy. Okay, yeah. As far as I know, that other guy that you're referring to gets up in front of audiences and speaks for 2 hours on his feet, 100-degree weather in Las Vegas, does it over and over and over again. Your guy answered no, he didn't answer. Your guy spoke for 4 minutes, and that was it. He went to wherever it was where he did the rally, North Carolina, and he spoke for 15 minutes. That's it. Trump speaks for 2 hours every single time he goes, 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Was there any other medication he had taken? That's what many of them are asking.
No, I understand. I was asked about the cold medicine. I asked about the cold medicine. He was not taking any cold medicine, and I don't have anything beyond that. I don't have anything beyond that to share. And look, I've answered this question multiple times at this point. I don't have anything else to add beyond what I have shared with your colleagues here in the room.
Well, you know what's weird about that? He was so bad. He was in such bad shape. He had a cold. And he had this cold, and it caused him to just be off his game during the debate. This is the President of the United States, 81-year-old president. And you're telling me you didn't give him any medicine to get better? Really? Why wouldn't you give the President of the United States, arguably one of the most important men in the world, who was sick, any medicine? I was sick. I've got my throat lozenges right here. I took them as I was doing the show to make sure I could continue. And you didn't give this sick guy anything?
We really, truly want to turn the page on this.
All right, so I wanted you to hear that. Of course you want to turn the page. We're not turning the page, honey. 300 million Americans, 100 of them saw that debate. We ain't turning the page. The only way you're going to get people to turn the page is to come clean. I know you want to turn the page. Everybody knows you'd like to turn the page. There's not a single person in politics or the media who knows you don't want to turn the page. It ain't going to turn. You can want that all you want. You're trying to tell people, get over it, move on. Nope, ain't going to happen.
And we have a new poll from CBS News that says 72% of registered voters say the president does not have the mental and cognitive health to serve as president. So are you saying that the majority of Americans are misguided and that they just need to trust Dr. O'Connor and take him at his word?
All right, so this is a great question because this question kind of puts her in a box. 72% of Americans saying this guy ain't got it, which means it crosses over into Democrats. She can't just say 50%, and she could say, oh, those are maggots. Those are MAGA people. 72% of Americans say, he ain't got it. So now you got to be very careful with your answer here because you can't say they're all stupid. Listen to what she says.
A couple of things, and I want to say the president is feeling better, and you saw him last night, you saw him today, but he does indeed still have a cold. Look,
he still has a cold? You're not giving him any medicine? How about some chicken soup? Nothing?
You know, I want to be very sensitive here, and I think it is important to be sensitive here. We understand how the American people are feeling. We get it. We do. And I do not want to take away from that. I'm not going to speak. I know that there was, you all did a poll, CNN did a poll. I'm not going to speak to every poll. I'm just not going to do that.
She didn't answer her. Hey, man, 72% of Americans think that your boy's whacked. He's done. You want to speak to that? I'm not going to speak to that. 72% of your citizenry, of the people you lead, think you ain't got it. And you aren't going to speak to it? Would any of you, if 72% of the people you know, your friends, your family, your coworkers, your friends at church, if 72% of the people said, you look crazy. You look like you got some, you tarded. You would just blow it off? Wouldn't you just say to somebody, hey man, I'm sorry, what am I doing to make you feel like I ain't got it upstairs? Well, you know, the other day during this meeting, you were babbling. You were incoherent. And tell you the truth, Barry, we've seen it happen 3 or 4 times before. And then Shirley says, well, actually, I've seen it a couple other times. No, I'm not even going to speak to that. No, I'm not going to speak to that. It's just a poll. It doesn't mean anything.
People that we've talked to describe an accelerating series of episodes, moments when, over the course of the last several weeks, the president appeared confused or listless or would lose.
So we've heard this question already, so I'm going to skip it because this got in here twice. But I don't think it's the same guy. Could be. Let me just play it out.
The thread of a conversation in private meetings at the G7, in Normandy, at the White House. Not all the time, not saying that that's the way he is all the time and that there's clearly moments people say that he's forceful and with it and all of that. But these people suggest that that what happened, what Americans saw at the debate, has a precursor. What do you say to that?
So I want to be mindful.
So check. So this is a different question because he's asking, is there a precursor to what everyone saw? This is a little bit different.
In respect to reporting, I have not read it. I have not seen it, so it's hard for me to respond to it directly. But what I can speak to more broadly is that I have engagement with the president pretty regularly. What I see is a strong, resolute president who's always willing and able to work on behalf of the American people. I do not know who these folks are that you speak of, so it's hard for me to talk about that and to speak to that. I can just speak to my experience and go back again on the president's record and what he's been able to deliver on behalf of the American people. So I do want to be mindful.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Well,
all right. Now, let me set this video up. So, after the press conference, it was at 2:30 today. After the press conference today, a lot of the networks broke, and I wanted to get this one from CNN because that's supposed to be the hometown newspaper. They're in Dementia Joe's camp. What they're about to say just blew me away. Honesty, they were honest, but listen to this.
The motivation behind that press conference was clear because Karine Jean-Pierre said it plainly. We want to turn the page. We want America to turn the page. We are hoping to turn the page. I mean, she said it 3 times. That was quite clear. The page is not turning.
Page isn't turning. This guy, I forget his name, David Chelian, who's been with CNN forever, he recognized she said it 3 times during the press conference. I didn't show the whole press conference to you because it would have been an hour long. But she said it over and over. We want to turn the page. Let's look at turning the page. How about we turn the page? And it was like, hey, listen, stop trying to rush this. We understand what's going on here, and we're not liking this crap at all. We're not liking that you're trying to get us to forget about it and move on. So here he goes, right here.
Because there was a lack of answers to the critical, fundamental question that was being asked, which is, what happened? What happened that all of America saw? So Karine Jean-Pierre kept saying, we're not trying to ignore reality. We understand and acknowledge what America saw and witnessed, and that was a really bad night, and that was a bad debate. And we acknowledge that. But she does not offer one bit of evidence or reasoning or rationale for why.
That's from CNN. How bad is it for Dementia Joe's White House that CNN basically slays you right after your press conference? When they said, we're all asking questions, and we didn't hear a scintilla of a reason or answer to the questions. You blew everybody off, and now we're going to tell America when we do the recap here that you blew America off. It's obviously true. He has dementia. He has Alzheimer's. He has something that's affecting him. It's obviously true. And how you can take it as being true is you don't want this to linger. If it wasn't true, you'd end the discussion right away. You don't need to have weeks and weeks of different kind of interviews and doing different things. It would be very simple to change the narrative. But you can't change a narrative by ignoring the narrative that's being placed in front of people. Unfortunately for the White House, unfortunately for Joe Biden, the Orwellian nightmare is going to continue for them at this point. We are not going to basically ignore what our ears have heard and what our eyes have seen. They have tried to basically use gaslighting for months, if not years, to tell you what you're seeing is not true. What you've heard is not true. Watch the little dial here. The problem is at this point, too many people have seen it. They're not ashamed at all that he's incapacitated. They're ashamed that people saw that he was incapacitated.
Why did America see what they saw that night? And there were a lot of questions asked by the White House press corps. Can we get more medical records? Can you bring the doctor in here and make him available? Is it time to do a cognitive test? You didn't do one in the last. And there was just none acceptance of that kind of a premise. It was just one bad night. We acknowledge that. But she's missing explaining to the country fundamentally why.
Yeah. And that's not going to change. They just, as she said, let's turn the page. They just want to move on. They want all of you, me, everybody, just forget what you saw. I don't see how this guy can survive. I don't mean survive and live. I'm talking about survive his presidency. They have to pull him out. Everybody now has confirmed that this guy has something. Something is wrong. And now it seems as though there are people inside his own administration who are talking. Let me see. I think I've got one more or a couple more that I want to play for you. But it's getting really bad at this point. And let's cut to the end here. So it appears as though Now, the next in line, the heir to the throne, is Kamala Harris. Kamala, what do you think about all this?
And speaking about stakes, you just came out of a fundraiser. We know that many in your party have expressed concerns about President Biden's health. Just this morning, Congressman Doggett said that he's calling on President Biden to withdraw from the race, given that there's too much at stake to risk a Trump victory. What's your response to this?
Look, Joe Biden is our nominee. We beat Trump once, and we're going to beat him again, period.
Are you ready to lead the country if necessary?
I am proud to be Joe Biden's running mate. Thank you.
Thank you.
There is nothing that this administration can answer honestly. Somebody in here, it might have been the same guy that emailed me and said that Biden had a cheat sheet. I couldn't see if it was a cheat sheet. Each candidate, both Trump and Biden, were allowed to bring out a pad. The pad was supposed to, and actually the pad was waiting for them. It was blank. I haven't seen any zoomed in picture where it shows that there were pre-existing notes. The candidates themselves were allowed to take notes, so maybe Joe was reading his own handwriting. I don't know. But because I can't confirm that he brought out a cheat sheet, and Trump, standing a couple feet away from him, would have obviously seen a cheat sheet. Joe's not the most nimble of people. He would have seen it. So you have to pretty much think there wasn't a cheat sheet. Joe was probably trying to take some notes, and he was probably trying to, basically jot down what he was going to say from whatever he could remember. They probably said, as soon as you get out there, start jotting down your comebacks so you can see what they're going to be. Remember, number one is this, number two is that, and he probably started writing them down. I don't know, but I couldn't see a cheat sheet per se. I wouldn't put it past them that they hit it. I don't know, but I think Trump would have said something. So in any event, that was the press conference. That was CNN basically afterwards saying it's not going to go away, and no, it didn't. It got worse and worse and worse. So following that press conference, let me see if I can bring this up for you. Axios wrote an article, and this ain't pretty. Look at this. Freaking the F out. Turmoil in the White House over Biden. What a headline. I've highlighted a few passages. So it says here, officials on Biden's White House campaign staff say they are feeling rage, sadness, frustration, and resolve over his debate performances and his team's response to it. More than a dozen White House and campaign ads spoke to Axios. All right, so a dozen people spoke. These are all quotes from these people. Senior leadership has given us nothing. His performance is the first topic of every conversation. To act like it's business as usual is delusional. They're telling Axios this. Acting like it's business as usual, which is what Karine Jean-Pierre did, is delusional. Another official put it more bluntly. Everyone is freaking the F out. A third White House official told Axios the uncertainty after Thursday is palpable and anxiety is only increasing. So now what you're seeing, I'll come back to that. What you're seeing is something we haven't seen in 3.5 years, and I was wondering when it was going to happen. When were people going to begin leaking information to the press? It's been pretty much, they've been able to lock it down so people wouldn't talk about what they were seeing on a daily basis. So somebody somewhere, Obama, whoever is running the show, has said, go for it. Because all of a sudden, all this stuff is coming out. Somebody had to tell them, do what you need to do. Talk about it. Because it's getting really ugly. Let's continue here. Let's see here. People are looking for leadership and direction that they were told to trust and hoped was there, but aren't yet feeling in what is now clearly a defining moment for this presidency. That's a quote. People aren't feeling it. I mean, I'm not feeling this, okay? Many officials felt they only were given talking points with no real explanation. You saw that in the press conference of why Biden appeared unable to string sentences together or articulate a case for himself over Trump. So they are keeping it hidden to the very top level of people in the White House. Obviously, Karine Jean-Pierre, Chief of Staff, some people very, very close. They're keeping it under wraps. The lack of answers from senior aides has continued this week, leading to growing anger and resentment among many inside the Biden camp. This is from Axios. This quote here says pretty much it. "It's dark," said an official involved in a campaign. "It feels like there is zero leadership or information. People are being told to keep their heads down and keep working, but they're not seeing the president or being given any reason why they should have faith in him." Again, from an athletic perspective, you lose a game, the first couple of people you want to see is your positional coaches, and then you want to see the head coach. You don't want to see your head coach ducking. Why would you duck your players, man? We're the ones who are rallying behind you. And right now, what they're saying is that Biden is ducking them, or people are shielding him. Either way, they're not seeing the guy anymore. It's not happening. Then it continued to get worse. All right. The New York Times wrote an article. The New York Times, the bastion of liberalism. Somebody pushed a button and they decided, hey, let's get the information out to the New York Times. This is probably enough to sink his presidency. Check this out. Clay Travis posted this. This New York Times article is incredible, not because of its new revelations, which we've all seen, but because it now cites all the viral video events where Biden was clearly lost. A week ago, the same media said they were cheap fakes. Now I'm having to show you this because obviously the New York Times is behind a paywall, and I ain't giving the New York Times a dime, so forget that. But they go through here and dates by dates, the New York Times starts talking about when he completely screwed up. It says here, the alarmed looks and later described themselves as shaken up, as one put it. They're out here telling all the different information that's going on with Biden. He continued, let's see here, we saw this one. In the same article, according to the New York Times, during Biden's 6 days of this one's bad. This one's really bad. During the 6 days of debate prep, he never started the day before 11 o'clock and always required an afternoon nap. The leader of the free world couldn't even engage before 11 o'clock in the morning. Need to rest. And then would go take a nap after a couple hours. There's no way this guy's presidency can survive. It can't possibly. Now that the knives are out at the press conferences, and also now that they're leaking this information, it's absolutely insane. I mean, the fact that this guy hasn't dropped out yet is only going to make it worse. Needing a nap in the afternoon and only getting up at 11, and we know that they said before he only works between 10 and 4. This is getting really, really ugly for Dementia Joe. All right, so here's another piece of the article. In addition to Biden starting his debate prep at 11 and still needing an afternoon nap each day, here are some of the other damning details from the New York Times piece. Biden is finished. See the screenshots below. So that might seem a little small, but it said, I won't read it all. I hate when people just read stuff and go on, especially when it's this long. But I can put the links in below. But he's taking snapshots of the article itself on the phone after several days in France. Mr. Biden flew home briefly. And this was something that people were saying. Why were you going back and forth? Why was Jill going back and forth to Hunter's trial. It didn't make any sense. Down here at the bottom it says, after just a couple days at home, Mr. Biden turned around and flew back to Europe, this time to Italy for a summit of Group 7 leaders. Throughout the meetings, the pattern was the same. He was out of it. Why did he have to fly back home right before the other meetings? They said he was dazed and confused. It was his expression much of the event. This person said Biden had shown a sharp decline since a meeting only weeks earlier. Why is this information just coming out now? Why is it just coming out now? Talking about, if again, a clip of the event that went viral had been edited to make it appear Mr. Biden had just walked away. In fact, he was greeting a paratrooper, but the image suggested he needed guidance from his host. It wasn't his host. It was the prime minister, or whatever her title is, of Italy, Meloni. So she had to bring him back. A senior European official who was present said there had been a noticeable decline in Mr. Biden's physical state since the previous fall, and that the Europeans, quote, were shocked by what they saw. The president at times appeared out of it. This is what world leaders are saying. And now the New York Times is putting it out there. Asked if one could imagine putting Mr. Biden into the same room with President Vladimir Putin of Russia, a former U.S. official who helped prepare for the trip went silent and then said, I just don't know, and then flatly said, no. Someone involved in the preparation of the trip overseas said that he could not even imagine putting Biden in a room with Vladimir Putin. That's our president, guys. That's the guy who's the leader of the free world. I mean, it's scary at this point. Absolutely scary. So now, what's the fallout of all of this? What's happening? Now a bigger leak happened. And this leak, to me, is devastating. The fact that all those leaks to the New York press, Axios, and people are talking, they're chattering, which is only going to get worse. Once that seal is broken, these people are going to talk. This is a long weekend. They're going to see people at barbecues. They're going to see people at events. They're going to be unleashed. And they're going to like, hey, man, this guy's toast. He's running around at night screaming at people in the hall who ain't there. We're going to hear some crazy stories. I guarantee you by the time Monday comes around, we are going to hear some off-the-wall shit about Joe Biden. We're going to hear about him. We're going to hear it about Jill. And now we know we're going to hear it about Hunter. They've already said that he screams at the staff, which is common with dementia patients. So this is, and I've said many times, you guys have watched my videos, you know that I have said, I believe we're looking at a landslide, an absolute landslide. So what happened? Somehow today, it said Biden's internal post-debate polling just leaked. So somebody took, in case you don't know, let me just go back for a second. In case you're not aware, there are always a couple different set of polls. They're the retail polls that you see everybody put on Twitter and YouTube, and they talk about them. 538, Nate Silver, all these guys, well, that's the same person. Richard Barris, Rasmussen, those are retail polls. Quinnipiac. But the teams, the candidates themselves, they have internal polls. These are secret polls, and they're much more accurate. They dig much deeper to say how a candidate is doing, because they have to use these internal polls to decide how they are going to run their campaigns. So they have to know where there's no accident why Trump went to Detroit, why he went here, or why Biden went to Raleigh. They're going there based upon what they're seeing in the polls. So somebody today leaked Biden's internal polls, which means that came from an inner circle. And they're saying, hey man, here's what we're looking at, here's what we're seeing, and oh shit, what do we do? So check this out. what you're going to see is it's a disaster for him. Biden is barely winning in Colorado, Minnesota, and Maine, down in New Mexico, Virginia, and New Hampshire, down 7 in Pennsylvania, 9 in Arizona, and 10 in Georgia. This is blowout territory. So here are these different states. And you got the state in the first column, the cumulative electoral votes, what's going to be won in the state. This was a pre-debate margin and post-debate margin. So you can see what happened after the debate. Okay, so for the first one, Colorado. Before the debate, Biden was up 3.7. After the debate, he's still ahead at 1.9 in liberal Colorado, but he lost a point, almost 2 points. Minnesota, which has been a bastion, a counted on demographic for Democrats, before the debate, he was up by 2.4. After the debate, it's 0.4. It's almost ready to flip. Maine. This one, again, he was up 2.2. He's only got a 0.2% lead. Now we're going to start getting into some of the stuff that's really bad. New Mexico, another liberal hotbed. He was up 1.9. After the debate, he's down a 0.5. He lost 2.4 percentage points just in that state. And we could go on and on and on. The rest of these here, and as you see, they start getting into red. Virginia, he's losing. New Hampshire, losing. Wisconsin, losing. Nebraska, the 2nd district, which is the one that's always up, he's losing. And then down the bottom here, these states have already moved out of the margin of error into Trump, leading handily. He's winning in Michigan. He's winning in Pennsylvania. He's winning in Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina. In essence, what you're seeing here, when you count in Wisconsin as well. Oh, I need to move it down so you guys can see it. Okay, there you can see all the other states. Sorry about that. It's over. It's completely over because there's no way for them to come back. This is only going to compound. It's only going to get worse. Look at those numbers. Where was Virginia again? Let me make sure I'm sure. Virginia, right here, 221 electoral votes, and now that's turned. That's flipped. So at this point, you have his staff talking, you have his staff leaking, you have Karine Jean-Pierre lying, you have CNN going, hey man, this ain't right. You got the New York Times writing bad articles, you got Axios writing bad articles, and it's July. I'm sure by the time I hit stop on this stream and look at Twitter and look at some of my other sites and see what I've got from direct messages, I'm probably going to see even more stuff. Because I didn't plan on going live tonight. I was like, let me give my voice a rest. Let me just go ahead and do a pre-recorded video. And then it just kept coming. It just kept coming. It just kept coming. And I'm like, my gosh, people need to see this stuff. You may not see all this stuff. There's so many people who don't see it. And I'm like, I got to share this stuff. I mean, this thing here is insurmountable. This is landslide stuff. You guys know Wisconsin has been a big swing state. You know Michigan has been a huge swing state. That's why Gretchen Whitmer said it's gone. The other day when she came out with that statement, she said Michigan is done. And people are like, well, why would she say that? Oh, so you weren't supposed to hear that. You weren't supposed to hear that Michigan is done. You can't make that up. Pennsylvania, another huge swing state, down by 7 in Pennsylvania. You can't do it. So right now, that's why the Dems are panicking. What you're seeing right now is specifically why the Dems are all panicking all over the place, is because what they know is that it's July and right now, and the election's November, and there is nothing coming that is going to better things for the Democrats. Nothing. Trump's not going to go to trial. Sentencing is way back to September, way after early voting. Jack Smith may get toast. All of the future stuff that could happen good is on Trump's side. What I mean by that is Jack Smith may get thrown out. They may throw out his case. They may do, Chuckin may not be able to do anything. New York may get overturned. These are all possibilities on his side. On the other side, all the possibilities are negative. You're not going to stop the newcomers at this point. Nope, they're just going to keep coming. You're going to lie to everybody and say that they keep coming. You can't change anything economically. Christmas is coming. People are going to start looking at things. This travel weekend, they're paying more for gas. You're paying more for groceries. You're paying more for rent. You're paying more for your interest rates. That ain't going to change. And then, of course, his health, which is going to change for the worse. So at this point, if you're a pollster and you're looking at this stuff going, I don't see how things are going to get better for the Democrats, which is why they're sitting here going, "Hey, we need to change out. We need to flip out at this point. Find somebody else." What's that going to do for you? How is it? Because and here's why I say that: the person that you switch in, if they go ahead and switch in, can't manifest any change before November. There's nothing this new person can do. You understand that? There's nothing a new Democrat can do to fix gas prices, yada, 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 yada. Can't do anything. They can tell you what they're going to do. They can try and rally the troops and say this is going to be better once I, take in. But then you have to be careful. Think about it. If you bring somebody in and says, I'm going to do this, this, and this to make it better, then you're going to piss off people who've been Democrats or independents like, well, if that's what makes it better, why didn't he do it? I don't understand. You guys have a plan on how to make things better, how to fix all this stuff, but you purposely, intentionally didn't do it? Why would I trust you? Why would I put you anywhere near the White House? You've been lying to me, and now you're saying you could have changed it? You could have made my gas prices better? Are you going to drill? No. You know why? Because you're going to put in basically a younger version of Joe Biden. That's where they're stuck. The people are tired of your bullshit. The people don't want to hear it. And the person that could potentially win for the Democrats would have to completely go against everything that is currently the ideology for the Democrats. Think about that. For someone to come in and at the first press conference, so what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to make sure that baby removal is the law of the land across the country with no limits. Okay? I'm going to make sure that climate is fixed. Okay, keep going. Are you going to drill? Oh, no, we're not going to drill. Oh, so what are you going to do about food prices? What are you going to do about the economy? Because what about taxes? Oh, no, we're still going to raise your taxes. Oh, so you're just a younger version of the same shit. That's what you're telling us. There is nothing you're going to do policy-wise to get us out of this thing. Are you going to stop giving money to that other country? Oh, no, we're still going to fund them. Oh, okay. Are you going to stop with all this DEI stuff? Oh, no, that stuff is great. Ooh. All right, how about this one? Are you going to stop with the Transformer crap? Oh, no. That stuff is fantastic. We want to have those shows inside kindergartners. Well, what are you changing? Nothing. That's the problem the Democrats have. It doesn't really matter that it's Joe Biden in the White House at this point. It matters that he's not functional upstairs, but his policies are what they are. That's why they can't talk about policies. That's why they're attacking Trump. Trump's the dictator. Trump's going to be like that guy Adolf, and Trump's going to do this, and he's going to kill democracy. Can you talk about the stuff that matters to me? Oh, no, we can't talk about that. When she keeps saying his record, notice she never says it. She never talks about immigration. Oh, we're going to cut back on that. We're going to build the wall. We're going to stop that. No, they're never going to do it. So anybody, even worse would be Kamala, but anybody they put up, I got to tell you about Kamala in a second. Anybody they put up is going to do the exact same thing. So if I was Trump, I'm like, I don't have to debate anymore. if I'm Trump, I see these numbers and I'm looking at this. Tell me why you would keep your starters in, as I've said, the football analogy, when you're up by 10, all these points here in these big states. I just got to coast at this point. From Trump's perspective, all he's got to say is, don't screw anything up, dude. You got this. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Tell people that they can be more prosperous. Tell people you want to keep them safe. Tell people they're going to be able to work again. Say drill, baby, drill. You just keep hammering that message, and the contrast is going to get you elected in a landslide. That would be my consulting speech to Trump. Don't stop with all the crazy rhetoric. Just eyes on the prize. I'm going to make people more prosperous. I'm going to get rid of these newcomers. I'm going to let the states worry about removing babies. I'm going to, and just stay on that. Because obviously it's working. The Democrats don't have any policy change to fix it. That's why Barry keeps saying it's going to be a landslide. And the reason I keep saying it's going to be a landslide, and I didn't have access to these backdoor polls, but I knew if he could flip Wisconsin, if he could flip Michigan, and he could flip Pennsylvania, it's over. And then if he gets in here and grabs Virginia, that's where it becomes a landslide. So at this point, you guys are the evangelists. Just keep doing what you're doing. Tell people life's going to be better. All they're going to do is try to trash Trump. Unfortunately for them, they've been doing that for 3 years, actually since he came down the escalator. And today, Dementia Joe goes out there and calls everybody who doesn't believe in the climate hoax that you're dumb. You're dumb Americans. They got nothing. And I'm going to close with this. I had said to some people, they can't jump over Kamala. Unless Michelle Obama wanted to run, she would be the only person that could potentially, this much, jump over Kamala. Nobody else can jump over Kamala. It would seal the doom of the Democratic Party. And I've said it, and you guys know what I'm going to say. You are not going to jump over the black woman who's the vice president with another white woman or a white man. And tomorrow's video that I'm going to be putting up is I've got some people who are working with Kamala who spoke on camera today, and they said, oh, hell no. In just about that type of vernacular. Oh, hell no. If you jump over Kamala with a white man or white woman, all hell is going to break loose. They actually say that. When you see it, you're like, Barry, how'd you know? Because I'm black and I dealt with black women. I got sisters. I know how they think. Oh, hell no. Go ahead and watch, Love and Hip Hop or watch one of these shows. That ain't fake. These black women in the hood and all around, right now some of them are looking towards Trump, but some of them are also looking towards a Democrat and going, yeah, maybe Kamala would be president. And you jump over her with a white man or a white woman, oh, you're done. You're done, girl. You're done. I'm telling you right now, I've been telling you, and tomorrow I'm going to prove it to you. So let me take a few comments before I get out of here. And yeah, no jumping in lines for sure. Commonwealth of Virginia for Trump 2024. Yeah, he's building a basically a strong coalition. And here's what will sink it. Now, I'll leave you with this comment. Okay, here's the comment with it. Everyone's saying, I'm looking in here at some of the comments, people like Byron Donalds, Vivek Ramaswamy, Ben Carson. If he brought in, on a surprise, if he brought in Glenn Youngkin as his vice president, done, game over in July. Done. Why hasn't he announced yet? I don't know. I wouldn't announce yet either. I don't want to get in the way of this quagmire that is the Democrats at this point. Joe's going to be sticking a fork in his ice cream. Happy 4th to you, Big Cat. Thanks for hanging out. So tomorrow I'm going to be posting a recorded video. Probably won't go live until next Monday, but I'll have a video probably every single day. Want you guys to check it out, unless unless tomorrow something breaks again, and I'll definitely go live. But thank you guys for tuning in and listening to me yammer for another hour and a half, hour 45 minutes today. I had a great time. I'm off to the gym, actually. It's only 8:44, so I'm going to go get a workout in. Hope you guys, if you can make it this week and see some of the videos, fine. If not, have a great 4th of July. Thank you for tuning in. Do me a favor on your way out.
Come on, show some love and
Hit
click
that like button.
like button.
That like button, baby. Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys got some information that is of value.